So you know her from the Today Show and NBC's chief legal correspondent. She's the author of the upcoming book, Mostly What God Does. Savannah Guthrie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Stacy. It's great to be with you.
It's great to be with you. So I first learned about your book from a post that you shared on Instagram where you were seeing the actual book for the first time in print. And it was such a moving post. And I was immediately interested.
I tried not to cry.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it was so moving. And I honestly didn't know that you were writing a book like this. And so I've been wondering, when did you first think, I want to write a book about faith? What was happening in that moment?
I don't even know if I ever had that thought. What happened was someone approached me and said, "Would you ever want to write about faith?" And I thought I couldn't say no right away. I have a job. I have 2 kids. I haven't been wanting to write a book. This is not on my bucket list. But when I had the opportunity, something kind of stopped me in my tracks. Mm-hmm. And I thought, faith is so important to me. My family and friends certainly all know that. My colleagues at work, I've talked about it in public here and there. But I feel like I might have something to say. And I thought, I'll just try. And at the beginning of this process, which was about a year ago, actually, it all kind of happened fast. I wasn't even sure that there would be a book at the end of it, but I was willing to go down this path. And what happened was it just started kind of spilling out of me. It wasn't easy. It's actually the hardest thing I've ever done. But there's just revelations everywhere and stories and things fitting together. And suddenly, at the end of the summer, I had a book, and I was as shocked as anyone that's where we ended.
Well, I was able to read some of your book, and I cannot wait to read the entire thing when it comes out next week.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, one of the chapters I read was the one on becoming a mother, and you and I actually became mothers around the same time. And so, speaking of tears, that chapter it brought me nearly to tears. And so, what I want to know is, can I expect to cry in every chapter?
I hope you cry, and I hope you laugh a little bit too, because these are heavy topics. Faith is, of course, but they're just short little essays that I hope are thought-provoking and meaningful, and yes, emotional, because what's a more emotional topic than, your faith, your belief, your values, your kids. But I also hope it's a little bit fun and funny, and sometimes maybe even a tad bit irreverent. But yeah, I grew up in the church, and I come from a point of view, and it comes from a Christian point of view, but I hope that people of any faith, or really even no faith at all, will find things that that resonate with them, and that these themes are, universally appealing, and compelling. Like, what is my purpose? Who do I think God is? And what does that mean for me? These are all the questions. Spoiler alert, I don't answer life's unanswerable questions, but I pose them. I talk about processing our questions with God and bringing our doubts and our seasons of distance to God. And that I believe wholeheartedly that, God accepts us, and that he welcomes and yearns to engage with us, even on the hard questions.
Well, you just mentioned that maybe even people who have not come to faith might find value in it. And one person did comment on your Instagram. They said that they aren't religious, but they're excited to learn and grow from your book. So I'm curious, when you read comments like that, how does that make you feel?
I loved that comment. I saw that. It makes me feel so grateful, and also I'm so in admiration of any seeker. I'm not here to proselytize or tell someone what to believe. And I'm certainly no expert or scholar or theologian. I'm just a regular person whose faith has been with her. And I've had seasons of ups and downs. And I think it's a pretty realistic, pretty raw, pretty vulnerable look at that and the things that I think I've learned about God along the way. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. I just felt like I had something good to say about the God that I know, and I wanted to share that. And I'm amazed at anybody who picks up this book. I'm grateful, but also I have so much respect and admiration for somebody who's willing to have an open mind and pose those questions. And I think that's life. I think that's part of being human, and I think it's amazing. And I hope, maybe there'll be something resonant and touching to people. Either way, I just give so much respect to anyone who's willing to try and to push ourselves. We all have to push ourselves and get out of our comfort zones. That's where everything interesting and magical happens after all.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that so much. You've said that this book is the most personal and vulnerable thing that you've ever done. And so, I'm sure, I know that sharing it has been that way too. So what have you learned so far from this experience of sharing it?
I have been so delighted and maybe even a little bit surprised at how open people have been from all walks of life to having a conversation about faith and God. And, I have met people I've known, my whole life, that I didn't know were people of faith until I wrote a book and it brought the conversation to the fore. And that's been the most exciting and wonderful part about this.
Oh, I bet. All right. So now I'm going to get to some hard-hitting questions. Okay. You go to work every day with a bunch of legends, Hoda, Al, Carson, the whole Today team. And I'm betting there's some good behind-the-scenes stories. You guys are having some good times. What's the most hilarious thing that's happened lately behind the scenes at the Today Show?
Oh, my gosh. See, it's like every day there's something crazy that happens. It's just hard to think of one right off the top of my head. But it's like every day. But here's the thing. When it starts behind the scenes and is crazy, it usually ends up on air.
Oh, yeah.
Truthfully, it usually just ends up on air.
I bet. What's it like to go to work at the Today Show every single day?
It's amazing. It's a joy. It's a dream, especially for me. I'm just a person who grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and I'm the last person anyone would have expected to get to be here. And I honestly, I pinch myself every day I walk through the doors.
Yeah.
30 Rockefeller Plaza and Studio 1A, and to be part of something that I grew up watching and that's 70 plus years old. And then to work with Al and Hoda and Carson and Craig and our whole team is just, it's a joy. We laugh a lot. We work really hard. Our producers and staff and the crew, they've all been there years and years. And everyone's united in a mission. Everybody cares about the show and feels like we're just temporary custodians of something that's a lot bigger than us. And I think when you get up at those hours, you have to feel that way. You have to feel you have a shared mission and direction. And we all really do. And we laugh a lot and we enjoy each other. And we eat a lot. We eat a lot on this show. Nothing like having a T-bone steak at 8:45 in the morning.
Sounds like fun. That's what I think.
Yeah, it is.
You've had such an amazing career so far, and I know that you were a journalist, and then you went to law school, and you did that for a little bit. You came back to journalism. Is there a time that you got some really good career advice that helped you along the way? Yeah,
definitely. I've had a couple of critical moments in my career. The one that comes to mind right now is I had worked in local news for 5 or 6 years, and then was trying to decide whether to go to law school or not. And I felt like if I go to law school now, does that mean I'll never be able to get back into TV? And am I sure that I'm done with TV? And I wasn't really sure, but I had this opportunity to go to Georgetown Law, and I didn't want to miss that opportunity either. And I was really just tormenting myself, driving myself crazy, thinking about, should I stay, should I not? And I had a colleague and mentor who said to me, Savannah, think big. And for whatever reason in that moment, I knew what he was saying to me. He was saying, stop asking yourself, well, what if I never get back into TV? Well, what if I can't get into law school again? What if I can't? Instead, think big. Imagine, what's your dream? You don't have to say it out loud. You don't have to tell anyone, but you do have to tell yourself. And once I thought about that and recognized in my own mind, okay, I think what my ultimate goal is, what my ultimate dream is, for me, it was, I think I'd like to be a legal correspondent on a national network, which was a very audacious dream from where I was sitting at 26 years old in Tucson, Arizona.
Right.
But once I admitted that to myself, then that helped me know what my next step was. I thought, well, then it makes sense. I'll go to law school. I'll go to Washington, D.C. This makes sense for that ultimate goal. So I try to tell people, think big for yourself. It doesn't mean you might have maybe you want to be the next Oprah. Maybe that's going to happen for you. Maybe it isn't. There's nothing wrong with whispering your dreams to yourself and then taking the next logical step in that general direction. It's a way to know where you're going, even if the destination ultimately changes, even if it doesn't end up the way that you want it to. Taking a step in the general direction of your dreams is always the right next step to take.
Yeah, I mean, you do never really know where it's going to take you. It might take you to the Today Show desk chair, right?
I mean, no one's more surprised than me and delighted.
Yeah.
And grateful.
You are listening to the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Stacy Raine, and I'm here with Savannah Guthrie from the Today Show talking about her new book, Mostly What God Does, that comes out February 20th. Well, despite your busy career, you make time for family, and you've been pretty vocal about that. I remember that I think you took time off for the first day of school, and you took your daughter on a trip to see Taylor Swift. How much fun was that?
Amazing.
And recently celebrate your 10th anniversary, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, we're about to in March, yes.
Oh, okay. So what's your advice for people who are trying to do it all? They're doing the family thing, they're doing the career thing, they're trying to chase their dreams. What's your advice for them?
I think just to give yourself grace, no matter what it looks like from the outside, nobody has it all or is juggling it all perfectly. Nobody's got it all in balance. And, there are seasons where you might be overwhelmed at work and you feel like work's getting all your attention and your family isn't. But then there will be other times where family, needs you, and you might have to let a few things slip at work, and that's okay too. We just have to have more love and understanding that, that there are moments in life and seasons in life, and they change. And we just have to do our best and know what our values are and know what's important. And that's one thing I would say definitively. Family, your family is the most important. Nothing else really even comes close.
Yeah. Well, I know that you keep a sign on your desk that says love is the answer. And then, we're in February and it's the month of love.
Yeah.
So I started to think about, how do you celebrate love this month? What's something that you're doing?
Well, I'm releasing a book called Mostly What God Does.
That's
Love
true.
you.
That's true. That's a good celebration.
A little plug. Well, no, I hope. The reason I have the sign on my desk, love is the answer, is because a lot of times we have, things we're going through or conflicts with people, someone at work or maybe a family member, and you don't know what to do. And, you might have questions that seem really, really complicated. And it's just there to remind me that love is always the answer. What is the thing that puts me more in line with love of other people, with love and respect for myself, with love of God or whomever you consider your higher power or higher calling. And I think that's what I'm trying to do, not just in February, but all the time. I'm not here to tell you I'm successful every day, not by a long shot, but that's why I had to put a sign up and remind myself, that when you're struggling or you're not sure what to do, that go in the direction of love, spreading more love, being more vulnerable, being more open, receiving love. It sounds kind of like cheesy and a Hallmark card, but actually it's not. It's quite profound and quite difficult. So I think that's my aspiration.
I love how you talk about your rose-colored glasses and your sort of outlook on life. It really is truly inspiring. It really is. So I was wondering if we could play like a little rapid-fire question game for our listeners.
Absolutely.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Here we go. What time do you get up in the morning?
Right now, about 4 o'clock. My record is 2:30 in the morning. I'm slacking now because I've been in this job for 12 years. I know where to cut corners.
Well, that doesn't sound quite as bad as I thought for 4, but 2:30 is not my favorite. What sound does your alarm make to wake you up?
Oh, whatever that generic, the one that everyone.
Do you?
No, I should be more interesting.
Do you do your hair and makeup, or does someone on set do it?
Oh my gosh, no! I have 2 amazing miracle workers, Kelly and Edna, who do hair and makeup, which is, I think, the greatest luxury a woman could have.
I love that.
It's like there's not a day I'm not happy. I drag myself in sweats and no makeup and wet hair, and they perform a miracle every day.
I love that. I love so many of your outfits that you wear on the show. What's your favorite place to shop for your on-air clothes?
Oh my gosh! Well, it's funny because I think over the years my style has kind of changed, and I think I'm more myself than ever now. But I like to go to Saks. I like a good department store, and then they have all the different brands and stuff. But Yeah, I mean, I like clothes. I'm a girly girl, no question about it.
What do you eat for breakfast so early in the morning?
Okay, coffee. I don't eat breakfast. And don't be telling me it's the most important meal of the day, Stacy, because I skip it.
Nope.
I used to eat breakfast every morning before the show, but now I kind of feel like if I can wait, I'm less tired and less hungry, and I just sort of, so I guess it's sort of intermittent fasting, but it isn't really. But I just eat after the show, because often I find too, because I get up so early, that the minute I eat something, I really want to take a nap.
Yeah.
So I try to take a nap every day, just at least for a little bit.
Unless you're eating a T-bone steak at 8:45, right?
Well, I do take a bite. You got to taste. It would be rude not to taste.
Yeah. You and I are similar. I'm the same. Coffee girl in the morning. That's about it.
Yeah.
Okay. But what's your favorite candy bar? Because I love candy bars.
Oh, I do too. I mean, I love a Twix. I like a good crunchy caramel chocolate mix.
Yep. Me too. All right. How many tabs are currently open on your phone?
Oh my gosh. You're going to laugh because usually it would be like 1 million. I'm looking right now for you, but I just closed them. Like I just did a big old close. So I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh my gosh. 21, 22, 23. Stacey, that is horrifying. I literally this morning cleared all my tabs and now I have 23.
I actually think that's impressive because I have 98, just so you know.
Okay. Well, see, exactly. That's what mine would have been.
Okay, what's the best podcast you've ever listened to?
Oh, I just listened to Anderson Cooper's podcast on grief.
Oh, I wrote that one down yesterday.
He did an episode with Stephen Colbert that is beautiful and profound. And I just think the world of both of them. And it is so worth a listen. But bring your tissues.
Okay, for your book and for this podcast. Got it.
Yes, exactly.
All right, if you had to live on a deserted island with one of your coworkers, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. How can you ask me that question? That's like Sophie's Choice.
I know. That was kind of a terrible question. I'm sorry. How about we'll just go to a deserted island and take a break?
I think I have to take the fifth.
All right. I'll let you do that. You are a legal expert after all. So you've got this book coming out. It comes out next week. What are you doing to celebrate on the day it comes out, February 20th?
Well, we're doing a big rollout on the Today Show. And actually, we have I would just say, a musical guest surprise that people are going to love and that is very meaningful to me and definitely on this topic. So that's a big celebration. And I'm doing a bunch of book tour dates. I've got one on Long Island, in Huntington, New York coming up. Yes. So I think tickets are still available for that. And I'm doing a bunch. I'm doing it at the night. I got a whole bunch of dates and going down south actually this weekend. So yeah, that's how I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating by going around and meeting people. And I hope, getting to talk to them about what they think of the book and how they connect to these subjects.
Yeah, your book tour sounds so much fun. So you are going to be here on Long Island in a couple of weeks with Carson Daly to talk about your book. So what can people expect to see there?
It's going to be fun. Carson and I, we're work colleagues, but we're also very, very close friends. Our families, he just spent the weekend with us upstate, and we're just really, really close family friends. Our kids, our daughter. So you had a child right around the time I did, and so did he. August 20th, 2014 is his third daughter, London, and my baby was born August 13th. So the babies kind of brought us together, and we're super close. So it'll be just a conversation. He's going to do Q&A. He's so funny. He'll probably ask me things I don't want to answer. But I think it'll be, he's also a person of deep faith and has had, a lot of profound challenges in his life and has really hard-won beliefs, and he's very deep. And so I think it'll be a deep and thoughtful conversation, but I also think it'll be hilarious and probably slightly irreverent because that's Carson and that's me. And we're kind of more like brother and sister at this point. So I think it'll be really fun.
I love it.
And I think it's on the 27th, I think.
Yes, it sounds awesome. February 27th, Tuesday, February 27th at the Paramount in Huntington. Savannah and Carson will be there.
Yes, come on over, Long Island. I'd love to see everybody.
Well, Savannah, this has been so much fun. At some point, I really want to get over to the Today Show studio. So hopefully at some point you can give us all a tour.
Absolutely. You are welcome, Stacy. Now we know how to find you and you know how to find us.
I'm here at WHPC. Thank you so much, Savannah. This was tons of fun.
Thank you, Sarah. I really enjoyed it. Appreciate it.
Have a great rest of your day. Congrats on the book.
Okay, you too. Okay.